Walter Frederick Mondale. 11 Shocking and Scandalous Facts. Walter Frederick Mondale, the 42nd Vice President of the United States under Jimmy Carter and the Democratic nominee for president in 1984, is often remembered for his calm demeanor and political integrity. However, his career and life had moments that were both scandalous and incredibly intriguing. Here are 11 such shocking and intriguing facts about Mondale. Fact number 1. From Minnesota roots to national leadership. Walter Mondale was born on January 5, 1928, in the small town of Ceylon, Minnesota, and grew up during the Great Depression in Elmore. His father, a Methodist minister, and his mother, a music teacher, imbued him with a strong sense of duty and community service. These early experiences influenced his later political focus on social justice and welfare. Mondale began his political career as Minnesota's Attorney General in 1960, before serving in the U.S. Senate where he championed civil rights, consumer protection, and environmental issues. As Vice President under Jimmy Carter from 1977 to 1981, he significantly expanded the role of the office in policymaking, particularly in foreign affairs and domestic policies. Married to Joan Adams in 1955, Mondale's personal life was deeply intertwined with his public service. Joan, an advocate for the arts and mental health, supported him throughout his career. The couple had 3 children, raising them with values of community involvement and public service. Mondale's life reflects a commitment to public service shaped by his upbringing and sustained by his family's support. Number 2. The pioneering promise of a female vice president. In the 1984 presidential race, Walter Mondale made a historic decision by selecting Geraldine Ferraro as his running mate, marking the first time a major American political party nominated a woman for vice president. Announced on July 12, 1984, this choice was both a strategic and symbolic effort to invigorate his campaign and address gender equality in politics. Ferraro, a congresswoman from New York, brought a vibrant energy to the campaign but also faced intense media scrutiny. Her personal finances, particularly her husband's business dealings, became a focal point of controversy, which some believe overshadowed her groundbreaking candidacy. Despite the challenges, this move by Mondale is celebrated for breaking a significant glass ceiling in American politics. Number 3. The 1984 Electoral Defeat. Walter Mondale's 1984 campaign against incumbent Ronald Reagan ended in one of the most lopsided defeats in U.S. presidential history. On November 6, 1984, Mondale won only his home state of Minnesota and the District of Columbia, securing just 13 electoral votes to Reagan's 525. This overwhelming loss underscored the country's shift towards conservative policies under Reaganomics. Mondale's straightforward approach, including his admission that he would raise taxes, was praised for its honesty but criticized for its political imprudence. This election is often cited as a stark example of the challenges faced by Democrats during the Reagan era. Number 4. Advocacy for gay rights. During his career, particularly evident in the early 1980s, Walter Mondale was a prominent advocate for gay rights, a stance that was quite progressive for the time and politically risky. His support included backing anti-discrimination legislation that aimed to protect the LGBTQ community, a move that faced significant opposition from conservative groups. Mondale's advocacy for these rights highlighted his broader commitment to civil liberties and equal protection under the law, setting a precedent for future political leaders. Number 5. The Where's the Beef? Moment. One of the most memorable moments of the 1984 presidential primaries was when Walter Mondale used the phrase "Where's the beef?" to challenge Senator Gary Hart's policies during a televised debate on March 11, 1984. This phrase, borrowed from a popular Wendy's commercial, was aimed at questioning the substance behind Hart's appealing but vague proposals. The catchphrase caught on quickly, symbolizing Mondale's practical, detail-oriented approach to political discourse. It underscored his campaign's focus on depth and accountability in policy proposals, though some viewed it as a desperate attempt to discredit a rising opponent. Number 6. The Mondale Tax Pledge. During the 1984 Democratic National Convention, Walter Mondale made a bold decision to address the fiscal realities facing the United States, openly stating in his acceptance speech on July 19, 1984, "Mr. Reagan will raise taxes, and so will I. He won't tell you. I just did." This admission was intended to underscore his commitment to honesty and fiscal responsibility, contrasting sharply with the prevailing sentiment of tax cuts under Reaganomics. The reaction was immediate and overwhelmingly negative, as the American public, enjoying the economic upswing under President Reagan, was not receptive to the idea of tax increases. This statement is widely regarded as a major factor contributing to his landslide defeat in the 1984 election, where he secured only Minnesota and the District of Columbia, reflecting the country's strong opposition to tax hikes during that period. Number 7. The Japanese Ambassadorship Controversy. After his vice presidency, Walter Mondale was appointed as the U.S. ambassador to Japan in 1993 by President Bill Clinton, serving until 1996. During his tenure, he faced critical challenges, particularly regarding trade negotiations with Japan. Critics argued that Mondale was too lenient, especially in the context of the significant trade deficits that the U.S. was running with Japan at the time. These deficits were seen as detrimental to American economic interests, particularly affecting domestic industries like automobile manufacturing and technology. The perception that Mondale's diplomatic approach contributed to these imbalances sparked considerable debate about the effectiveness of his strategies in safeguarding American trade interests. Number 8. The Missile Defense Opposition. Walter Mondale was a prominent critic of the Strategic Defense Initiative, SDI, dubbed Star Wars, which was introduced by President Ronald Reagan in 1983. This proposed missile defense system aimed to protect the United States from attack by ballistic strategic nuclear weapons, but Mondale argued that it would escalate the arms race rather than ensure peace. His opposition was rooted in a belief that diplomacy and arms control were better tools for achieving national security and global stability. Mondale's stance was significant as it highlighted a major ideological divide in American politics regarding defense and security strategies during the Cold War era. Number 9. Involvement in the Church Commission. As a member of the Church Committee, officially known as the United States Senate Select Committee to study governmental operations with respect to intelligence activities, Walter Mondale played a crucial role in investigating alleged abuses of power by the CIA, FBI, and NSA during the 1970s. Formed in 1975 and led by Senator Frank Church, the committee uncovered activities including unauthorized surveillance and attempts to assassinate foreign leaders. Mondale's participation in the committee not only added to his reputation as a defender of civil liberties but also underscored the complexities of balancing national security with the protection of individual rights. Number 10. His role in the Iranian hostage crisis. During the Iranian hostage crisis that began in 1979, Vice President Walter Mondale played a pivotal behind-the-scenes role in the Carter administration's efforts to secure the release of 52 American hostages held at the U.S. Embassy in Tehran. Mondale was involved in numerous diplomatic negotiations and strategy meetings, which were aimed at resolving the crisis without resorting to military action. Despite these efforts, the hostages were not released until January 1981, moments after Ronald Reagan's presidential inauguration. This timing was seen as politically damaging to President Carter and Mondale, as it coincided with the 1980 presidential election, significantly impacting their campaign. Mondale's involvement in this crisis highlighted the complexities and challenges of international diplomacy during geopolitical conflicts. Number 11. The secret meetings with Soviet leaders. Walter Mondale's tenure as vice president under Jimmy Carter included several undisclosed meetings with Soviet leaders during a tense period of the Cold War. These meetings were part of broader efforts by the Carter administration to reduce nuclear tensions and foster more stable relations between the United States and the Soviet Union. Details of these meetings emerged years later, revealing that Mondale had engaged in risky diplomatic negotiations that were not public knowledge at the time. This secretive approach to diplomacy was controversial as it involved delicate discussions on nuclear arms control and international security, reflecting Mondale's commitment to global peace even amidst potential political fallout at home.